Welcome to another me reacting to TikTok videos. We are on section 2 of my skating videos. I was originally gonna lump this section by going long red hair. The problem is that I have so many more with my short red haired look that if I split it up like that, this video will be average length, but then my next video will be very long. So instead, I have an arbitrary cutoff where I have cut it off about halfway through my red hair saga, my redhead era, if you will. And then my next video will be the last half of the redhead era, and then my final TikTok video will be when I have like the weird mix between red and purple and just all the weird colors. But we've already done this a couple times now, so we're just gonna jump right into it. We're gonna learn what it was like for me, just daily life at the rink.
The way these hockey parents and even grandparents talk to these kids makes me want to throw hands. I don't even know if like these kids butted me off that they're being treated like that. Just admit you're jealous your kids are better than you ever were.
Yeah, so just a short little TikTok, a short little video that honestly got a lot of wild reaction in the comments. Also, the voice filters on TikTok used to not read cuss words at all, so that's funny. But yeah, just the way that the parents would talk to their kids was so angering to watch, just made me so angry. The way that they would talk down to and demean these kids. Like, it was crazy the amount of stress that they would put on like a 5-year-old hockey player who can barely stand up on skates. And like me just sitting behind the front desk witnessing it all, it's like, what do you do? What do you say? There's not really much you can say or do.
Hello everyone, it's dark outside because I'm about to go into work, and since I was the only one working at the rink, tonight I wasn't able to like film this story at work, but I want to tell you now anyway because it's dumb. So I was behind the desk and a guy comes up to me, he's like, I need a screwdriver, and he's like holding up his helmet. And I look at the screw and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go get you a flathead screwdriver. Because looking at the screw, I could tell he needed a flathead. And he was like, no, I want a Phillips head. Do you know what that is? And I was like, yeah, I know what a Phillips head screwdriver is, but I'm looking at your screw right now, and even though it has the Phillips head shape in it, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna want a flathead for that screw in particular, because it's one of the ones that has like the hash mark, but then it has like the really long hash mark like all the way across the top of the screw. And I've seen enough guys mess with their hockey helmets for a while now, like I know which screwdriver you need. Anyways, he was like, no, I want the Phillips head. I was like, well, okay. Anyways, he was being like an asshole about it, like, do you even know what that is? Do you know what a Phillips head is? It's the one with the cross in it. Keep in mind, I worked in like assembly for like 2 years. I know what a Phillips head screwdriver looks like. Anyway, so I went to the back, I got him one, and like 20 seconds later, he's like, yeah, this one's not working, can I have the flathead?
So not necessarily hockey or skating related, besides the fact that he needed to fix his hockey helmet. And again, it's just one of those things where it's like, just being a dick for no reason. Like, the way the hockey screws were shaped, it was always going to be infinitely easier with a flathead, and I don't know why he had to fucking sit there and fight with me about it.
Looks like someone's mad. Go cry about it, bitch.
Damn, son.
Right, so this starts the era of hockey game season, I guess, and you get to see so many videos of adult hockey men acting like fucking morons. Never actually filming them, of course, but like just the stupidity that I had to deal with day in and day out with these grown ass men behaving like fucking toddlers. We had a rule at the rink where they were required to show their ID when they came in and checked in for a game, because they're fucking losers who would cheat, and they would have people come in and say they were somebody else. There was no money involved. They just have scores, like, just utterly, like, they were truly playing for nothing. They were truly playing for nothing, and yet they would still try and cheat. And so a new rule was, when they came into the rink, they were required to show their ID to prove that they were the person whose name they were checking off. And they fucking hated that shit so much. If I'm like, okay, you're checked in, can I see your ID? They're like, seriously? Seriously, you're making me pull out my wallet right now? It's literally in your fucking back pocket. Yeah, that happened a lot. They would throw full ass tantrums because they had to reach into their back pocket to pull out their ID. The rage, it's coming back. It's coming back. I had to deal with this pretty much every single day. You think they would learn? It says on the front door, it said on the desk. We had signs that say ID required to play.
The Zam guy doesn't know how walkie-talkies work. They're labeled so we can keep count of them, and he was confused BC the scorekeeper took the one he normally uses. He kept asking how the scorekeeper can use the Zam one. He truly thinks it will only work if the person holding it is the Zamboni driver. The one labeled front desk only works at the front desk. Act. I think he thought they had numbers like cell phones. Did he not notice he could hear everyone's convo and not just the ones for the Zam guy? He is a full-grown adult, not one of the kids.
So yeah, just a fun story of crazy shit you hear Zam drivers say. He was fully convinced that only the Zam person could use the Zam walkie-talkie. Like if I talked into it, nothing would happen. And the only reason they were labeled was so we could keep track of them. So if one goes missing, like we have little labels so we can keep count. Just like truly wild stuff these people say. Sometimes the Zam guys just said truly wild shit.
The best Chicago-style pizza.
Where's the cheese?
It's under the sauce.
There's no cheese on it.
It's under the sauce.
Like, I'm Italian and this is hurting me.
It's from Chicago.
But it's just sauce.
The cheese is under the sauce.
So not very surprising, people looked at me and assumed I didn't know how to sharpen skates, which I did. And it would be different if they were figure skaters. And I will tell you why. Hockey skates normally get 2 cuts. One's half-inch, and I can't remember the other one because it honestly wasn't used very often. But we have 2 machines in the back that just automatically do that cut for you. You put them on, they go zzz, and then they cut out that hollow for you. So yeah, I can fucking sharpen your skates. All you do is put it on a thing and press a button. It's not that hard to do. If they were figure skaters, it would be different because figure skates have the toe pick, which you have to be very careful not to grind away, as well as very often figure skaters are incredibly picky about the hollow. They're very picky about how they get their skate sharpened, so it has to be done by hand, which I did eventually learn how to do, but it is way more complicated than a hockey skater will ever need. So when they come in, they're like, oh shit, no one can sharpen my skates today. It would just like piss me off to no end, because if you just came to the front desk and asked, hey, can you sharpen my skates? That's different than just being like, oh shit, nobody can sharpen my skates when I'm sitting right there. Anyways, let's move on.
To the people that tie their rental skates together. Could you not?
Okay, no, but seriously, the tying of the laces together is so fucking annoying. I'm just truly not sure why people do that. It's not any easier to carry it around that way, and all it does is make a lot of work for the people behind the counters to untie them. And then especially if you're carrying it by the end of the laces, you're just tightening those knots over and over again. So that is fucking miserable. I hate it when that happens. Yeah, so same thing we were just talking about. It's literally not that hard to go into your wallet and pull out your ID. Or if you have one of those wallets with the clear thing, so I can just see into it. But they act like it was the biggest fucking deal in the world. And it was this sense of like, well, I'm important. I shouldn't need to do that. Don't you know me? I'm this special whatever. I had a few people that were like, I thought the signs on the door were a joke. It's not a joke. Like, why are you making this so difficult? And it's just day in and day out of people acting this way.
Okay, but like men really do have like all of the audacity and none of the common sense. I was working at the rink today and we had more of those stupid hockey games where nobody likes to show their ID, even though it's the rule. Everyone's all like, oh, but you can make an exception for me, right? No, I can't, motherfucker. So there's a rule to where if you have a sub, they have to be registered. Because they need to have a national hockey number and they have to be registered with the rink, so if they get hurt, they can't sue us for signing the waivers and all that shit.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows this sub as in substitution, so if one person can't make the hockey game, somebody else will come fill that role for them. And they are still required to show their ID, and they're required to have let us know beforehand, because you have to have the number, like how you have to have the figure skating number to do figure skating, you have to have the hockey number to do hockey things. So they must tell us beforehand what's going on so we can make sure they're actually able to play.
And also to make sure they paid, because you have to pay to be on the hockey team. And if we just let people on the rink without them being on the roster, then people who haven't paid will be playing all the games. So this guy comes in and he gives me over his ID, and I'm trying to find him. I'm I can't find your name on the register. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm a sub. I'm like, well, did you talk to the general hockey manager of the rink? Because I cannot let you in if you're not on the register. The only way I can let you in and you're not on the register is if you have proof that the hockey person, the coordinator of all the hockey shit, says it's okay. And he's like, no, why would I ask for that? Because that's the fucking rules. Anyways, he's like, can I go put my bags down first before I try and figure it out? I'm like, I don't care, but if you don't get this shit sorted, I'm not letting you on the ice.
Yeah, so they would do this a lot where they would go put their bags down, just get ready, and then just get on the ice without having to ever checked in. So me and the scorekeepers had to be like, so this person actually isn't checked in right now, you can't let him on the ice. And it's not that hard of a thing to do. First of all, he should have done this before he showed up. Get a hold of the hockey coordinator and just let them know, hey, I'm subbing today. She will go in on her computer and add him to the roster so that when I print it out and have to check him off, he's fucking there. And instead of doing that, he didn't do that, and now we're trying to do it now at 8 o'clock at night on a Sunday.
So he walks off, and then some other guy comes out. He's like, I heard there's a problem with the goalie. I'm like, yeah, get a hold of the hockey manager and it'll all be okay. And he's like, why do I have to get a hold of the hockey manager? I'm like, I just fucking told you. And he's like, this hasn't been a problem before. I'm like, I don't care if it hasn't been a problem before. It's a problem now and you need to deal with it. And he was like, but our team manager's out of town and he's in Utah getting drunk with his son. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. Like, a wedding is the only good reason I can think that would even come up.
Yeah, that was basically no context. He literally just was like, how dare you? Our manager, he's getting drunk with his son right now and you want us to bother him? Like, no context. And again, this whole era of like, I don't know, just hockey people, the hockey men are so fucking stupid. If this hasn't been an issue before, is it maybe because you followed the right steps before? Do you ever think about that? And again, we had already walked through the steps of you need to get a hold of the general manager or the hockey manager, and that's how you solve this issue. And still they're coming out here and bitching at me about their manager, the manager of their hockey team, which is unrelated.
And I was like, I don't need to talk to your team manager. I need you to talk to the rink manager or the hockey manager so that he can be approved to play, because if he's not on the register, he has not been approved to play. This grown-ass man sat there and argued with me for 20 minutes. He called the rink, again, he called his team manager, not the person I need to talk to, put this asshat on speakerphone and had him yell at me for like 10 minutes, and I was like, this is not solving the issue. Get a hold of the hockey manager and then I can help you out.
Yeah, so he calls his team manager, holds out his phone like this, and has that guy yell at me. Like, yelling at me that I need to figure it out, that I need to just figure it out. Like, I told you how you could have solved this issue.
So after getting yelled at by the team manager, and he, by the way, just hung up on me because I wasn't giving him the answer he wanted, this old-ass man is still arguing with me about whether or not I can just write this guy's name in or not. And he's like, don't you have any kids? Don't you have any siblings? Wouldn't they be so upset if they had to forfeit because somebody like you made an executive decision? And I was like, bitch, the only executive decision I made is to not get fired.
Also, that's fucking stupid. That's so fucking stupid. To try and guilt trip somebody into letting you break the rules for a hockey game that does not fucking matter. Hey, my advice to you, get fucking over it. Oh my god. These hockey men used to piss me off so much because they had all this entitlement and all this audacity and yet couldn't fucking read a sign. Me very obviously telling you, hey, call the hockey coordinator. Call the hockey coordinator and this can be solved. And he's sitting there fucking arguing with me about whether or not I can just add his name on. You know what happens when you just add your name on the list? The rink doesn't get paid, I get in trouble, I get fired. Guess what I'm more worried about? You having your stupid hockey game that doesn't fucking matter, or me having a job. I'm getting fucking heated.
We're not following the rules. And he's like, where's your manager? Who can I talk to? And I'm like, I am the only one here. You have to talk to me. You have to listen to what I say.
Also, if they had called the manager, like I kept telling them to, it would have all worked out. Because guess who the manager is? The manager of the goddamn fucking rink.
So sick of these grown-ass men acting like toddlers and thinking just because they throw a tantrum, they're gonna get their way. These grown-ass man argued with me for 20 minutes, trying to be like, well, if you were the one playing, you'd want somebody to make this decision. Man, fuck you. And also, like, the original guy that was subbing got this shit taken care of. The original guy that came in, the actual sub, got it taken care of in the locker room.
Yeah, he literally just called the hockey coordinator and got it solved. Again, it's such an easy thing where if you weren't such a fucking idiot, I need to calm down. Again, it's that whole thing of just like jumping to immediately screaming and being angry, when if you had just done what I had told you, if you had just followed the rules, we wouldn't even be here. You would both be on the ice already. But instead, you have to come in here and act like a fucking dickwad, call up your game manager, your team manager on the phone, and piss him off for no reason. I'm not even, this is so long ago and it still stresses me the fuck out. Let's see if this next one is another one about the hockey idiots.
I don't care if your kid is an iPad kid or not, but if you're going to be an iPad parent, maybe don't yell at your iPad kid too. The point of tears for being an iPad kid.
take a shot every time that says iPad kid. But I remember just sitting there at the front desk and watching this little kid in the corner on their iPad, you know, open mouth coughing, how iPad kids do, volume turned all the way up. He's just sitting there, not running around, so honestly better than most of the kids, on his iPad. And his mom's sitting in a chair, and she fucking turns around and she starts like screaming at him. Just screaming at him. Talking about how useless he is, how he never does anything but sits on a stupid fucking iPad all day. Who gave it to him? Who gave it to him? I really just cannot understand hockey parents. Yeah, and the kid ended up bursting into tears and crying because of course he did. Hockey parents are fucking wild.
A grown man spilled his full drink in the middle of the lobby, looked at it, then just left the building. I went to find a mop because none of the teenagers even acknowledged the spill, but it turns out we don't have a mop at the front desk. I called the Zen guy to bring a mop from the back and then put out a wet floor sign. Then I got yelled at by the guy's wife for not cleaning it up immediately and leaving a hazard on the floor for too long.
So, I've mentioned a few times now, but the rink was mostly staffed by teenagers. There was one other adult who worked the front desk with me, and then 2 ZAM guys that were adults, and the scorekeepers were all adults, but they don't work for the rink. They just come on game days and score and then leave. So there are like 4 max adults in the building at any given time, usually just me and maybe 1 ZAM guy. And yet, you have children being crazy children, but also full-grown adults acting like little babies. To watch a full-grown adult person spill their drink, look at it, and just leave the building, didn't come up to me and say, hey, I spilled a drink, can you please help me clean it? Didn't say, hey, I have paper towels. Didn't go find paper towels himself in the bathroom, just fucking leave the building. And then I try and find a mop, there's no mop at the front desk, so I at least put out a wet floor sign, and then his wife, of all people, is yelling at me for leaving a hazard out too long. I swear to God, this job aged me like 10 years. Just the amount of stupid inane bullshit that we went through daily, and you can tell a lot on my outfits that a lot of this was either on the same day or like within the same time period.
I had a really short shift today at the rink, so I'm gonna do this last work story from my car. I don't know what it is about hockey players that are so entitled all the time. I seriously think it's because it's like a rich person's sport, like for real. It is so expensive to do anything that involves ice skating, especially in Texas. Anyways, so there's like a million games going on like normal.
I stand by that, by the way. I think hockey people are inherently stupid and selfish because it's a rich man's sport, at least in Texas. So I think being from that kind of background breeds this kind of behavior.
And this lady walks up to the counter, like slams her skates down. She's like talking to the teenager that's working behind the counter with me. And like, that's fine if you're gonna be all rude like that. I don't want to interact with you anyway. So she's like, I don't know, they know each other really well apparently, because they were like joking back and forth, and I was like, cool, I don't have to deal with the situation. And so she wants her skate sharpened, so she tells them what cut she wants, and then just like leaves like without paying. And I was like, that's strange. And then like at halftime of the game, she comes back and she just like slams a $20 bill on the counter. Skate sharpening costs $10. And I was like, listen, we don't take cash. She's like, what do you mean you don't take cash? I was like, we've never taken cash. It has signs everywhere. And she's like, well, you can make an exception for me. First of all,
again, signs everywhere, a very basic concept. We do not accept cash. But you can make an exception for me. I don't know what it is, and it is this, it always comes back to this, where these people think they're the center of the universe, that everything revolves around them, and that's just not the truth.
not how that works. Second of all, even if we did take your cash, we can't give you any change back. Because you put a 20 on the counter, it costs $10 to get your skate sharpened, and we don't have any cash in the register because we don't take cash. Anyways, then the teenager that knows her is like, we can do it. And I'm like, we literally can't. Like, even if we wanted to, we can't. She's like, well, you better figure it out. And I'm like, what do you... Use a card. What do you...
So this is another part of the reason that these hockey people are fucking insane, is because they get enabled by teenagers, because teenagers don't know better. So if they walk up to a teenager and they say, no, this way, you can do this is fine, and the teenager doesn't know any fucking better, they're just gonna do it. So when they come up to the front desk and an actual adult person is there who actually cares about their job, they get really confused that all of a sudden I'm not willing to bend and break rules for them just because you should allow it, because why? Because they felt like it? Because they said so? Because they assume they're the most important person in the world?
What are you talking about? You can figure this out really easy. And she's like, oh, my husband has like credits on his account. And I was like, okay. So then the kid starts like looking up all her information, and she has like 50 accounts under her husband's name. So we have to like check.
The website for the rink was absolutely atrocious. It never worked right. So people would often sign up like 50 times under a bunch of different emails to try and get it to work. So we had this issue a lot of the time.
Each one individually. Turns out it wasn't even under her husband's name, it was under her name. Anyways, at this point, she's still being like super pissy about it and like a complete bitch. And I was like, don't worry, we'll get it figured out. She's like, well, you better, and I can't deal with this. So she just like takes her skates and walks off. And I was like, but like, why? Why you gotta make this so complicated? We actually did end up finding the money under her account, not her husband's. And we did end up like being able to use her credits to cover the skates, even though you can't use credits to cover skate sharpening, so we had to charge her or something different that was the same price. But like, if she
Again, this whole like, well, I have credit, so figure it out, when that's like not even technically allowed. You can't even really do that. Just this whole sense of like, well, that's what I want, so you better figure it out.
she didn't have those credits, she would have just taken her skates and walked off. And I just don't understand why you have to be so rude the whole time. Like, we're literally doing everything in our power to try and get this solved for you, and you have to be acting like a total bitch the whole time. Like, this whole attitude of, you need to figure it out, you're wasting my time. Like I've worked retail before, but I honestly don't think I've had as many shitty and demanding customers as I've had working at the rink. And I've worked at other rinks. It's not like this is my first time working at the skating rink. The roller skating rink I worked at was very bad, and also this rink fucking sucks.
Yeah, so I did work at the Austin rink for a little bit, but then they fired me because I told them I couldn't work Saturdays and Sundays, and they scheduled me on Saturdays and Sundays anyway. And when I told them I can't work Saturdays and Sundays, like I told you from the beginning, they said, okay, well, don't work here at all then. So, and then I worked at a roller skating rink right as I went up to Dallas, and that was some of the most miserable experiences ever. That was fucking awful. The people that were at the roller skating rink talk about screaming and yelling. Again, I was a skate guard at that rink. I didn't even work at the front desk. All I did was skate guard, which is just walking around and telling people, to follow the rules on the rink, which people really dislike that. And I got yelled at very often by angry mothers when I told them their little kid needs to, behave and not just crawl in between people's legs, and they can't fucking physically fight each other on the skating rink. That place closed down, and I think got permanently closed because of COVID.
Getting ready for hockey tantrums because the referees didn't get the memo that the times the games were had changed and didn't show up when they were supposed to. Everything is an hour behind now. But I put on
Yeah, so schedules can change and shit happens. The referees didn't show up at the right time like they were supposed to. Every single referee was late except for like one, I think. And of course that means that the grown-ass adult hockey men are gonna come in and be a bunch of whiny little bitches about it.
Me, can I get you checked in?
Random Dad, how come I didn't get any mail that class was canceled last week?
IDK, did you put the right email on your account?
How would I know which email is on the account?
That's how you log in to sign up your kid for classes.
My bitch ex-wife takes care of that stuff.
Me and the kid look at each
Dad
other
proceeds to throw a tantrum.
Again, this just sense of entitlement of let me fucking read your mind, I guess, and figure out which email you use. The email that you sign in with is gonna be the email that's getting the emails about times changing. So if your bitch ex-wife, his exact words in front of his child, is the one taking care of all that, of course you're not getting the emails, because you're not the one who's in charge of signing your kid up for the classes. And why does it always devolve into screaming? Why? Why?
What?
Random Dad, my kid needs a pair of skates.
Me, okay, what size does he wear?
He says he needs a 1.
Okay.
5 minutes later.
These are wrong. Give me a 2. Why are your sizes different at different rinks?
This brand probably just fits him different.
5 minutes later.
These don't fit either.
All of a sudden overnight growth spurt.
No, you're just stupid for not knowing my kid's size.
You're one to talk.
Okay, so sizes are not different at different rinks. However, sizes between styles and brands of skates can be different. So there's a chance that this kid had been skating in a specific brand Then when he came over to our rink, we had a different brand for rentals, which is fine. Dad comes in and says my son needs a one, we give him a one that doesn't fit. Maybe it's just the brand. It happens. It happened to me. Then when he gets it wrong a second time, and I make the joke, haha, son, overnight growth spurt, because kids can do that. Kids can be in a size 2 one day and then in a size fucking 5 the next. Like, they grow like crazy. And then he turns around and yells at me for not knowing off the top of my head what size skate his kid wears. How the fuck would I know that? Also, don't ask your kid what size he wears. How would he know that? He's a kid. Sounds like the only person that should know this is you, dude. You're the one that should know, and you're the one that doesn't know.
I just got off from the rink, and you're not allowed to comment on my hair because I did hockey, I did figure skating, and I actually worked the rink today, so we don't get to talk about it. What I do want to talk about today is the quickest way to get yourself kicked out and then banned from an ice skating rink, because that happened today. Step number 1 to the fastest way to get possibly banned from an ice rink: come to the public session and skate like a jackass. Public session is public session. It's not hockey special time. If you skate like an idiot and scare the other people who don't really know how to skate, most likely you're gonna get a warning. Now, when you—
My biggest pet peeve in the whole world is fucking hockey players coming to a public session, skating as fast as I can, and then doing their stop so that they spray snow at people who are falling down. So unbelievably rude. What's wrong with you? Legitimately, what's wrong with you? You're not supposed to be skating that fast on a public session. You're not supposed to be doing hockey stops on a public session, because guess what? You fucking spray snow everywhere and you're cutting divots into the ice. Definitely don't do that at people. Like, what's your problem? And if you're doing that, you're probably not going with the flow of traffic. So you're just all around being an idiot and an asshole.
You get that warning if you talk back to and are an absolute asshole to the teenager who has power for the first time in his life. That teenager's not going to be happy about it and is going to bring it up to the manager. Next step to get yourself kicked out of the ice rink and banned for life: start throwing things. Yeah, not only do the other skaters really not appreciate that, we fucking don't either. Don't do that. And the last step / final straw: create a tower of buckets on the ice and then dive through it head first. Congrats, you and your 2 friends are now banned for life. Don't forget to return your skates.
Yeah, we have cones out at public sessions. If you want to do special stuff, either figure skating or hockey stuff related, we have cones kind of separating a part of the rink for that specifically. So they were taking these cones and just like chunking them at children, just random children and each other, and they would like skate as fast as they can and throw it in the air and try and catch it, which means they're not looking where they're going. And we had buckets for kids who like are learning how to skate. Instead of like the rolly things that they have on roller rinks, we have buckets that just slide across the ice. They took a bunch of those and stacked them all up and then dove through them. Yeah, so they got banned. I just will never understand people who feel like being a menace in public.
I'm very aware that a lot of my Tales from the Rink videos get views because I'm in the rink. But I want to tell a story, and I'm not in the rink because I just got off work. And the reason I didn't film this story in the rink is because it happened literally like 2 minutes before I got off. Also, if you didn't see my last video, we're not talking about my hair. Anyways, it's not that crazy of a story, I just know you guys like it when people are dumb. If you've seen any of my videos before, you know my rink has this rule where they have to show their ID when they're signing in for a game, because these people are jerks, and they were pretending to be other people. So these 2 guys walk up, and they're like, my name's such and such, and I'm like, where's your ID? That one guy shows me ID, I'm like, I need to get ID for the other guy. And the guy's like, he doesn't have an ID, and I was like, okay, well, can he go to the car and get it? And he was like, no, he doesn't have an ID. He's my son. And I was like, because what do you say to that? It was confusing, because I'm pretty sure like you have to be like over 18, but then again, you don't have to have an ID if you're 18. I had someone else take care of it because I was like done for the day. But, like, why so rude?
Always back to the central idea of wild entitlement. School ID would have worked. Fucking Facebook with your face and your name next to it would have worked. I've done that before. Anything proving you are who you say you are would have worked. Why does it matter that he's your son? Why is that a reason to yell at me? You obviously know the rule. You handed over your ID. There's a reason I'm never gonna work at a rink again.
This is gonna be a recreation of the video that TikTok deleted, using my voice.
I think I forgot to mention this in my last video. Editing these videos was a fucking pain in the ass. Getting the timing of the like text on screen right with the TikTok audio I was using was very hard to do, especially on my phone in the middle of work. And a lot of the times I didn't have like any way to listen back to the video, so it was really difficult for me to get the timing right, to get the voices right. It was really difficult. And then TikTok had this thing where you couldn't save progress on a video, and then it would just like shut the app completely, so I would lose progress on videos very often.
voice and me sitting in the car instead of me being in the rink and using, you know, the voiceover stuff that I usually do. So a lady walks up and she's like, where are the benches? And I assumed she meant the benches in the skating rink, and I was like, what do you mean, where are the benches? They're in there. And she was like, no, where are the benches in the lobby? I want to sit in the lobby away from all the other people. And I was like, well, there aren't any here. And she was like, what do you mean there aren't any benches? Also, where's the coffee machine? I want my hot coffee. And I was like, well, there haven't been any since I worked here. When were you here last? And she's like, oh, I was here before COVID. And I was like, that's probably why they're not here anymore. And she's like, I don't want to have to sit with everyone else. At this point, I had stopped talking to her because that's just really rude, and also I can't do anything about that. But then she was like, I think I know you from somewhere. And that freaked me out because I had never seen this lady before in my life. And I was like, maybe you've seen me because I work here? And she was like, no, do you live in... And she says the city. And I was like, nope, I think you might just know me from working here. But I was like a little bit worried that she knew me from gay TikTok.
Another coffee story. This one was weird because she was demanding for me to find benches for her to sit on. Eventually, we did put out tables and chairs in the lobby, but there was quite a long time where the lobby was just completely void of anything.
Here's another thing that happened at the rink today that I was gonna make a TikTok about, but after TikTok pulled its bullshit from earlier, I got frustrated and I am now recording it in my car instead of in the rink. So something you should know about hockey rinks is some have a bar. Ours does not. Ours does not sell any food, but there's like 5 restaurants literally surrounding the rink. For some reason, everyone just assumes we have a bar in our rink, even though there's one sheet of ice, the lobby in the middle. Like there's literally nothing else, and you can see it all from the glass doors.
Also, I don't know if I say this in this video or not, but having a bar on an ice rink will never not be fucking crazy to me. Talk about dangerous. Oh my god.
They think we're like hiding it in the back. I don't know. But today was the most bizarre question I've ever been asked about it. A kid comes up to the rink with like a credit card in hand. He's like, where's your Starbucks? And I was like, what? He was like, where's your Starbucks? I saw somebody else with a Starbucks cup. Where can I get my Starbucks? And I was like, we don't have a...
I'm using this voice because this was a teenager. This was not like a 8-year-old child. This was a teenager who thought there was a Starbucks, I don't know, fucking hidden behind the walls?
Starbucks in the rink. And he was like, what do you mean? Everyone else has a Starbucks cup. And I was like, yeah, they brought it in from the outside. And he's like, oh my gosh. I can't believe you guys don't just have one here. And then he stormed off, like as if it was our fault for not having a Starbucks.
I don't understand. I just don't. I don't understand that one at all. What are you talking about?
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's extended warranty.
Another TikTok viral sound of a pretty funny video. I like it. This happened a lot. They would call very pissed off, and I would sometimes just put the phone down and walk away because yelling's not gonna change anything.
Guy, checking in for the game.
Me, can I see your ID?
No, I don't want to get my wallet out.
I need your ID if you want to play.
You can't tell me what to do. You just work the front desk.
No ID, you can't play.
I'm a sub, I don't need my ID.
Yes, you do.
His buddy, are you new here?
Nope. There are signs on the door, in the lobby, and right in front of you saying everyone needs an ID.
What will you kick me out if I don't have one?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Finally gets his wallet out, realizing I'm serious.
And that's what gets me. It was in his fucking wallet, in his pocket the whole time. It was literally in your pocket the whole time. It was literally in your pocket the whole time.
I know how some of these other guys are, and I just want to know I really appreciate you.
Sure.
Yeah, and then at the very end where he's like, oh, I was just joking, I just wanted to make sure that you were following the rules, and I know how sometimes these hockey guys can just be so rude, and I just want you to know that I appreciate you so much. Dude, fuck you, for real. It was literally in your pocket, and you want to sit here and have a fucking nasty-ass attitude? You want to sit here and argue with me? We're almost done. We're almost to the end of this section.
How am I supposed to live, laugh, love in these conditions?
That is not a joke. They literally threatened. They're like, I'm gonna come over this counter and beat your ass because I asked them for their ID. Like, they were literally like, you better watch yourself when you leave the hockey rink. For asking for their ID, there's a sign directly in front of their face saying you need an ID to play. I can't. Full-grown adult men. Fucking idiots.
Team is supposed to play at 2:15, right?
I don't have any games at 2:15. Team is at 4:15 though,
No,
is
my
that?
schedule said 2:15. Your schedule is wrong. Let me prove it. pulls out her phone. Home. Wait. This says 4:15. Why would you change it?
I don't think it's changed all week.
Why didn't you tell me I was 2 hours early when I came in?
I just got here.
Again, this whole thing of like, I'm the main character, everything should revolve around me. Please go back in time and fix my own mistake. I also just started working like 5 minutes ago. How was I supposed to know you were here early? And you are just now walking up to the counter and asking me about the times. I'm telling you as early as I knew, man. Alright, we're gonna end on a funny one because my blood pressure is spiking and I'm getting back. I'm having flashbacks.
Have you ever had a dream that you had you do that you had that you had that you
Yeah, I like that video a lot. Just a nice, funny little video about sometimes hockey kids would pick up the phone or like call the rink instead of their parents and just talk utter nonsense. And that was so much better than having to deal with stupid fucking parents at the front desk. And I'm gonna have to fucking take a break from this for a little bit because those hockey games piss me the fuck off so much. Anyways, I hope you all had a better time during this video than I did. We've still got 2 more sections, 2 more whole like chunks of videos left to look at together. But that's gonna be it for me today in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching and I'll see you all